Welcome back to another BoshNRoll video. Today, I am playing a super fast deck, blazing Rootwalla fast, you could say. This is 8 Lizard Madness from Patreon subscriber Kragan. Kragan originally sent me a more classic looking mono red HollowVine Burning Inquiry kind of deck, and they had sent me the list slightly before Modern Horizons 2 came out, and we revisited it, and I was like, hey, there's this 8 Rootwalla deck that we gotta check out. I've played against it a couple times in the queues, and sometimes it just stomps me. My wins are close, my losses are not, which is generally a hint that a deck is probably pretty good. My compatriot, my colleague Phil Gallagher of Thraben University, Thraben U on YouTube, also co-hosts the Eternal Glory podcast with me, has put up at least one 5-0 on camera with this deck, and I'm excited to get in there and try it too. I did a bunch of mono red or red green madness decks probably last year around Christmas time, so maybe 8-9 months ago at this point. And Angie's Ravager is a card that impressed me. Ox of Agonis impressed me. The Hollow one was great when it worked, but it was always just a little bit short of being insane. And I think Blazing Rootwalla is the thing that's going to make it insane. We now have 8 of the best card in the deck, or at least I don't know about the best card, but definitely the most consistent enabler, the freest thing to discard, the best thing to hit off of Burning Inquiry, the best thing to throw away with Faithless Looting, the cleanest combo with Lion's Eye Diamond. So we have 8 of that now. Thank you, Modern Horizons 2. And outside of that, this is just a deck full of ways to put Vengevine in the graveyard and ways to get it back out of the graveyard. And we're just trying to get over the finish line. Like, this deck has 3 anger in it. We are trying to attack early and often. So the nut draw might look something like Badlands, Putrid Imp, discard 2 Vengevines and a Basking Rootwalla, and then attack for 8. Like, that's not even the nut draw. That's just like a draw you could have. But you're trying to get Vengevine in the graveyard. Lion's Eye Diamond does that. Faithless Looting does that. Burning Inquiry might do that. Nobody knows. Woo! Putrid Imp does do that. And Hollow one, Basking Rootwalla, Blazing Rootwalla. We have 12 free cards, free castable creatures with a little bit of work. And then Angie's Ravager also combos with Lion's Eye Diamond. LED, discarding Vengevine, Basking Rootwalla, Angie's Ravager is just 8 power in play and ready to pump. So this deck goes fast, and I'm trying to go fast with it. Let's see how hard we can hit with our lizards. I'm on the play in game number 1. I have Faithless Looting and Vengevine and Rootwalla. I could wait a turn. I could keep this, wait a turn, play Putrid Imp. Oh wait, no, I don't even need a Faithless Looting. Easy keep, easy keep. Gotta reorient to the new rules of Magic here. But I play Putrid Imp, discard Vengevine, discard Rootwalla, bang bang, in we go. And then Faithless Looting can regrow later if necessary. Here we go. Turn 1 on the play. Let's see if they Force of Will my Imp. Do they know? Do they know how this works? If you're a blue deck and you have Force of Will in this spot, you Force of Will this Imp. You don't even think about it. Just counter it. Alright, looks like my opponent is on the level. Force Pitching Brainstorm. Alright, we'll take it. We have Faithless Looting for the reload next turn. Yeah, these decks are really good at just beating blue decks on the axis they want to play on, and if they get enabled, it's going to be really hard for blue decks to keep up, so you have to force the enabler. Like when you're playing against a deck with Putrid Imp in it, and you have Force of Will in your hand, you just always Force of Will the Imp. When you're playing against Dredge, this isn't quite Dredge, but it's existing on a similar plane. When you're playing against Dredge with blue, you just Force of Will literally whatever you can, because you're not going to get many targets. Alright, alright, they chose to shuffle. Let's loot and see where this goes. Kind of a bummer. So I could discard Vengevine but then my Rootwalla doesn't, I mean it comes into play, but it doesn't trigger. And I think I just discard Vengevine. Trying to think of how I can do this in a more exciting way. I guess I just take my value where I can get it. So I'm going to cast Rootwalla. I'm going to be real sad that I can't attack right now. Yeah, that Faithless Looting kind of bricked off. How many lands are even in this deck? Let's check it out. 15 lands in the deck? Okay. Thought so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've drawn 6 of them. Got it. Yeah, any one drop there, including Hollow One, just throws Vengevine into play. So that was unfortunate, but whatever. My opponent still had to force pitching Brainstorm on turn 1, set themselves back pretty far. Then they shuffled a Ponder. So these anemic beats might still get there. I can also just cast Angie's Ravager next turn, if nothing better materializes. And Faithless Looting is lurking in the graveyard for someday. A Flooded Strand go from the opponent. Once Upon a Time. Yeah, right on time. Right, I'm just going to bash for 1 and cast Ravager. And then see what happens. Because Ravager can set up a sick future set of turns. If they answer Ravager, I can hardcast Once Upon a Time or just flashback Looting. Well, the Ravager didn't get answered right away. They could play Teferi here, bounce Ravager, then they lose Teferi to Rootwalla. They haven't done any manipulation to set up a Terminus. Council's Judgment, alright. My Ravager's out of here. Ravager's gone. What can we do now? Lion's Eye Diamond, that's a good card. So I think I start with a Once Upon a Time. I guess I can play my land. How many of those am I going to need? Right, Once Upon a Time. This is where I draw a green card and realize that I should have played my fetch land. Okay, so I can put a second Vengevine in or a first Basking Rootwalla. The Basking Rootwalla is kind of okay. So if I grab this Basking Rootwalla, I can flashback Faithless Looting, and if I hit any lizard, any of the 6 remaining lizards in the deck, I could also just wait a turn and attack for 3. Try to set up a little more. Like, I know that I can't play this deck like it's blue-white control. Like, you don't need to tell me that. But at the same time, like, chucking just Madness to the wind here, and losing any shot at Vengevine if I don't hit a second Rootwalla right now or a Ravager right now is pretty bad when I could just wait a turn and do better. Alright, Teferi sucks because it shuts off Madness, but if I draw a creature, I can get back my Vengevine anyway. Or I could just draw literally every land in the deck. I don't even know if there's a fetchable left. Alright, there is. Okay, so I'm going to flashback Looting. Okay, this sucks because of Teferi. So if I discard Bloodstained Mire and Basking Rootwalla, pretty sure I can't do this. Yeah, can't do it. Doesn't work. I did know that, and I'm going to have to work my way through this Teferi slow and steady. So just attack Teferi for 3. It goes down to 2. And then I can hardcast Ravager plus Rootwalla next turn. Teferi's a huge beating. Like I said, I've lost to this deck a bunch of times, or played a lot of close matches with this deck, and the losses are close and the wins are not. And now I know exactly what my opponent needs to be doing over there and what cards matter the most. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you gotta do. Though, they did just plus Teferi, so that was a huge mistake. They could have done that as an instant, and that would have just completely bricked me out of this game. So that was loosey-goosey, as they say. Alright, so Vengevine's coming up. Yes, I'd like to use the ability, thank you. Let's clear this Teferi. Okay. Sweet freedom, sweet relief from Teferi's oppressive reign. I'm really glad they didn't cast their Supreme Verdict as an instant like they're supposed to. They got a Ponder. They did not shuffle with the second Verdict. Look how smart my opponent is by playing more than one Supreme Verdict in their deck. Ugh. It's beautiful deck building. It's sad for me right now, but it is still beautiful. Alright. Let's party. I could have just cast Hollow One, which I think is a reasonable thing to do. But I can also just explode here. Oh, do I cast the Anger? I think I do, and just hold back the Putrid Imp. Yeah, that rules. Or I could cast Putrid Imp, discard Anger, and how much am I getting in for? There's second Vengevine. Alright, yeah, that actually does a lot more damage. I'll do it that way. Fine. No Fun Zone. Then discard Anger. Haste up the squad. And let's get in there for a bunch. Which are to 4. Wow, they're just conceding? That was awfully honest of them. Why would 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? They're still at 4 with a fetch land. Alright, we saw Standstill. Jace. Yeah, maybe they're just out of rats and they know it. I don't know. That was an extremely honest concession that I'm not sure I agree with. But it's okay. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Planeswalkers are pretty important to destroy in the matchup. Like, we saw how bad Teferi is. Firestorm is really good, though. Deals... Discard X cards, deals X damage each of X targets, like, which can include planeswalkers. So this game's going to go long. So I don't want to draw a redundant Once Upon a Time. Gamble is... This one of Gamble is just delightful. That might be my favorite piece of deck building here. I should imagine that they're going to have Graveyard Hate. So what does that look like? Vengevine is still good. Ancient Grudge, fine. They might be doing Urza Saga stuff in their deck, and Ancient Grudge is good there, but I think I'd rather just punch through. I think I can shave 1 Anger for 2 Bone Shards. Like, you don't need to do much in this matchup. We're already mostly pre-boarded. We just need to pound in before Supreme Verdict hits. Though we did also just beat 2 Supreme Verdicts, so who knows what we need to do. Just keep the pressure on is the answer. Ooh. I could gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond and then die if I don't get it. I could gamble for Burning Inquiry and try to go nuts. I'm keeping this. Let's go. Gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond time. Flooded Strand. Oh my god. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Gamble for LED. And discarded a Rootwalla. I would like to cast it, yes. And Lion's Eye Diamond. You gonna force this? Probably should. Alright. So, discard making red, 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 red. Oh my god. Oh my god. Clear the way. I'm coming in. Coming in hot. Angie's Ravager even has haste, so I get to draw 3 cards right away. Here we go. 1 of Gamble. Hated a compliment in the sideboard. They get to Swords to Plowshares. They probably have to go after Ravager, which is nice for my Vengevine, but also sucks because I want to draw cards. Ooh, Path to Exile. You got it. I actually have those. Alright, in for 6. Here we go. Graveyard Hate's too late. Like, even if they rest in peace right now, they're still taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're still dead in 2. I hope they boarded out their standstills for their own sake. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think pumping Rootwallas this turn is a better use of my mana than Faithless Looting. And pump I shall. Pumping commits mana into a removal spell, but like, I'm here to pound. If they have a removal spell, they get it anyway. And Vengevine is still the biggest creature, even if I pump, so that doesn't matter. Alright, what are we working with now? Are they going to have a Shark to block Vengevine for a turn? Alright, let's Faithless Looting. Please don't Hullbreacher me. I think I actually want to discard the Imp, because I can't keep black mana and the Imp, and this way I can still pump a Rootwalla. Bottom. Alright, so they fetched to chump Vengevine. This is the moment of truth. Did they pivot into Supreme Verdict? Did they have it? Because they are at 1. No more fetch lands, no Force of Will. They need Supreme Verdict off of a just land right now. No fetch land. Has to just be a natural mana source. Nice fetch land. They cracked their fetch land for the memes. Win the match. Turn 1 gamble for LED. That was insane. I am on the draw in round number 2. I have Burning Inquiry and Once Upon a Time. This hand's insane. Keep it. Let's go. This is the power of having 8 root walls over 4. Just shit like Burning Inquiry used to be just the biggest crapshoot, but now it's insane. Alright, let's Once Upon a Time. I'm okay if they daze it, because I don't really mind. Like, I'd prefer Burning Inquiry get resolve over this. I think I want to Vengevine here. I have a million creatures to cast. I just need ways to pay them out. Here we go. Inquiry. Inquire! I have a Burning Inquiry for my opponent. Hopefully I discard Vengevine and the 2 Root Wallace. And then I get to cast Hollow One. The literal exact worst possible opposite thing happened. Cool. So I discarded the thing I can't cast, and the thing that I can. And now I have a handful of lizards with no enabler. Alright, Lion's Eye Diamond off the top. I also put Uro in their graveyard for them, so nice job. So there's some sort of 4-color Uro deck. Oh, Turbo Witherbloom. Pretty sure I've lost this game. Alright, so I'm gonna play my 2 lizards out. I'll play 1 of each. Does it matter? Doesn't matter. I can't pump 2 Basking Root Wallas anyway. So here we are, probably just dead to this combo right now. Alright, Uro. We're not dead to a combo. Not yet, anyway. We're just dead to Uro next turn. Put a land in. Lion's Eye Diamond? Discard? Ooh. Alright, we did find a discard outlet. So, time to loot. Jesus. Alright. Someday. Alright. Vengevine and Basic Mountain can go in the graveyard. I'm gonna fetch another land out of the deck, just trying to thin them out. Attack with both my creatures. I'm sure they won't block, so I will just put 2 power on this one, leave 1 mana available. Just bluff Lightning Bolt, represent something here. I'm leaving this Root Walla back because I want a Faithless Looting into 2 creatures next turn, and if I play it now, that just is a creature I'll never have. And they can bring back Uro this turn, which I probably am not able to beat. At the Tundra. They need to crack their fetch land first, though. They don't have quite enough creatures in the cards in the graveyard yet. Oh, Teferi. Yep, can't beat that one either. Yeah, the Burning Inquiry, despite the significantly above average payout rate that this deck has compared to previous versions, we managed to do the worst possible thing. Oh, we're just dead. Okay. I guess I can make them reveal their hand at least. See if there's any information in there. Nope. Alright, their deck has Brainstorm in it. Good to know. So from the sideboard, Firestorm is an instant, which can break up the combo. It doesn't help against Teferi, obviously, unless I get an untap step, where it is actually good against Teferi. So I think I do want Firestorms happening. Never afraid to shave on Once Upon a Time. The card is just so medium when it's not great. 2 Firestorms. Do I want the 3rd one? Probably. And I can just loot past it a lot of the time if I don't need it. So being on the play against this deck makes me think that I want some number of Once Upon a Times. Like, this is just such a tricky card to have the correct numbers of in, though it's kind of a lot like Aether Vial, where, like, it's great in the opener and you don't really want to see it later. So there is some muscle memory to how to sideboard with Once Upon a Time decks, even though I haven't played a lot of them. And do I need Anger? I should probably expect some graveyard hate. I think this is what I want to do. Bone Shards might be better than Firestorm. Maybe I should split it up a little bit. Firestorm being an instant matters a lot, but being uncastable from Hellbent is not so good. Right, I'm just going to diversify my answers a little bit here. On the play with 2 LEDs and a Burning Inquiry. This is a mulligan. Mulligan again. Okay, keep. So I'm gonna send Basic Mountain and probably one of the lands back. Yeah, I guess it's just Badlands. Then I can, Once Upon a Time, try to make something happen here. Once Upon a Time. Mulled for it, found it. So there's a hollow one here. There's also a Root Walla. I think I need to play to the hollow one and Burning Inquiry. This fetch is tricky because there's more green cards I actually want to cast in the deck, but there's a black card right here, but that's not necessarily going to be there by the time I would want to cast it, so I'm just going to get the green. And I can loot past the Imp with Faithless Looting, so might never actually need black mana here. Forest Pitching Brainstorm. Yep, my opponent knows how to do that, unfortunately. So Misty Rainforest, crack in their fetch. Ponder. They chose to shuffle their Ponder. I do like that. I like that too. Alright. Come on, land Root Walla. Hey, I found land Root Walla. Those are the things I wanted. Okay, so Vengevine and Blazing Root Walla go to the graveyard. Cast Root Walla. Land, fetch, cast Hollow One. Because I've discarded 2 cards this turn. That means it costs 1. Yes, return the Vengevine. Alright, they did not have a Surgical Extraction to slow me down. In for 4, let's go. Alright, despite the mull to 5 and getting our first spell forced, we're still miles ahead right now. Yeah, Swords of Plowshares is fine. And I want to attack for 7. Put them on a 2-turn clock here. And I'm going to play Putrid Imp. Ooh, they missed their land drop. I just noticed that. Nice. I love when opponents miss their land drops. Here's the sad rest in peace. The too late rest in peace. They're just pondering, trying to find another Swords to Plowshares to tread water. And we haven't won this game yet. There's definitely like Plow into Teferi, like whatever slows this game down a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can get Threshold. 3, 4, 5. So I'm just gonna attack and see what happens. They need to have it. They did not shuffle, so they must have it. Alright, so ramp this up. They plow Hollow One in response. I can discard the Vengevine to put 1 extra damage on the board, but I don't think that matters. I think drawing up to a land, like if I draw a land and just hardcast Vengevine, this hand gets pretty good. Also, this Vengevine is a great card to have with the Faithless Looting. So Teferi can bounce Root Walla here. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, just gain some life. Pull ahead. They have a land. They have 3 spells in their hand. We know that because they missed that land drop a couple turns ago. Faithless Looting from hand or from the bin. What's the difference? The difference is mana. So I'm going to go from hand. And I'm going to use the Badlands. Bummer. Alright, none of that was good. So, do I want to keep... Oh, I can Faithless Looting again from the graveyard if what happens. So, what's the difference here? So, Lion's Eye Diamond loots from the graveyard with all my mana still up. Yeah, I probably just want to do that right now while the getting's good. I do not want lands now, so I'm going to fetch. And get the green one. Take red. Faithless Looting. Just looking for 2 Madness creatures to trigger this Vengevine. The worst possible. Alright, they're gone. I'm going to attack for 5, put them to 1. They can't use this fetch land. Alright, they used the fetch land, so they must have another plow. Yeah, so they're going to plow this, go to 3. Or plow this, go to 2. Or 1. 2. 2, okay. Someday. And then Uro comes in to destroy me. Boo, Uro, boo. Alright, yeah, they needed several Swords to Plowshares to win this game, and they had them. Yeah, I tried to go fast on that Vengevine last turn. Maybe I'm supposed to wait. Because, like, if I just wait one turn, I get the hollow one. I don't know. I do not have any muscle memory for how fast you're supposed to go, how hard you're supposed to hit the gas with decks like this. Okay, flashback looting. Discard Vengevine and this land and pass the turn. I do have 2 Vengevines in the graveyard. So they're not, like, safe over there. So Containment Priest is live as possible right now. Oh, Endurance is in their deck. Yeah, should have known that, but now I've seen it with my actual eyes. Plague Engineer on Lizard is pretty good. Shuts down a lot of my options. Alright, so Faithless Looting, best draw? That's not it. There's not one in my graveyard left. Nope, because I spewed them too aggressively. What is my plan to actually win this game? I think it's just passing the turn. Like, I could cycle Hollow One, try to get something going, but I think Hollow One is part of any plan that I have left. So the window is basically closed here. Witherbloom Apprentice, alright. They can also just combo me out. Once Upon a Time. Is that good? Probably not. Let's go. Putrid Imp. Blazing Rootwalla. Does Putrid Imp do anything? No, it doesn't even cast Hollow One. I'm 1 card short of that being a thing. Like, oh, 2 cards because I have to use, yeah, I'm not even close to close here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I have to just pass the turn. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm just dead if they have the command, or the, whatever that card's called, the Smog, the Chain. I'm dead anyway. Like, oh, Jesus. Alright. Yeah, that was a beating. That deck is really good against my fair plan and has a combo plan of their own. I'm definitely willing to believe that I missequenced some things, but again, that's the hindsight, which obviously it didn't work, so it feels bad, but yeah, when I play against this deck, I'm always like, why is my opponent casting Faithless Looting from Hellbent? And then it's like, oh yeah, well, because they can cast their whole deck for free. But then I draw the Hollow One instead, and yeah, like, I'm sure there are invisible things that I don't know that I'm doing wrong, and I'm going to hopefully be better at them by round 5 here. But I'm certainly not an expert in this deck, though we can see how close that actually was, even on a mull to 5, and our first play got forced. I'm on the play with a 3 of a kind Once Upon a Time. I guess the question is, how bad is this card actually in multiples? And I'm going to keep it. Like, I have the looting to get rid of it, and Burning Inquiry is just a lot of dead hits here anyway, so let's go for maximum speed. I'm going to Once Upon a Time first, before even my land drop, because I can't get land, just in case I find a better one, even though fetch land is about as good as it gets. Ox of Agonis, huh? Haven't seen that one yet. Putrid Imp, I don't have a Vengevine to combo with it, so I actually think I do want the Ox. That gives me somewhere to go. There's a plan here. And I'm going to fetch Basic Mountain in case they're a Wasteland deck. I really don't want to just lose. Burning Inquiry. I'm leading on that because it could mess up their hand as well as it helps mine. Alright, I got to keep my Ox, that's lucky. Discarded Landlines, I Diamond. Alright, so I hit Sylvan Scrying and City of Brass out of them, so they're 5 color depths. So this is going to be a race, but no, it's not, because they have Crop Rotation and Bajuka Bog in their main deck. So this could be a complete thrashing. Just gotta hope that they needed that Sylvan Scrying. Alright, so I can just loot and figure out where I want to go with it. Yeah, just hope to hit like 2 Vengevines off this looting. I guess that doesn't even help. 1 Vengevine maybe? Nope. Straight to the Lizard Town. The good news is that this completely circumvents Bajuka Bog. I'm going to get a Taiga here and play Blazing Rootwalla. Yep, now we're blazing. There's damage on the board. Alright, it's their turn. What do you got? Urborg, that's pretty good. So they can... Are they representing Merit Lage right now? I think they are, right? So they... Oh no, because they would have to If they crop rotate, they'd have to get rid of Urborg, which turns off their ability to tap Merit Lage for, or tap Dark Depths for black. So they float black, cast Lotus Petal, or cast crop rotation off Lotus Petal, rotate the Urborg away, and then they only have 1 mana to activate stage with. Yeah, so they're not representing Merit Lage right now, unless they also have Spirit Guide, which is certainly possible, but just hope they don't. All right, Faithless Looting, let's go. Okie dokie artichoke. Alright, Vengevine and Basking Rootwalla in the graveyard. Basking Rootwalla cast. Lion's Eye Diamond. We're gonna ox them a question. And the way priority works, I get to cast Ox at least before they bomb my graveyard. They can still clear the Vengevine, but they cannot clear my Ox. Alright, here we go. Ox is on the stack. Vengevine trigger's on the stack. Get to draw 3 cards. Stifle. Oh, right. This is a Stifle deck, isn't it? Well, Ox of Agon is still coming in. And that cost them their Lotus Petal as well. Not bad. And I have a red floating. Might as well cast this jerk. And pump this one. Here we go. Damage on the board. I guess maybe I didn't want to cast Blazing Rootwalla. Maybe I want to save that for Vengevine next turn. Loosey goosey. Yeah, I probably did. It's amazing how, like, even on the simplest turns, you're still able to mess up this game pretty easily. Oh, now they just have the Dark Depths combo. Yeah, so they can just make Merit Lage whenever they want. I need, like, Lion's Eye Diamond right now. Does a land even help? I don't think so. Yeah, they're just going for their Merit Lage play around. Oh, even better. They had this 100 different ways. So they have a first strike blocker that they can also convert into a 20/20 if necessary. Alright, they're just making this in my upkeep. Alright, you got it. So I don't have mana to cast anything. I can't do anything. So they block here, they take 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they just win the game at 5 life. Okay, I'm dead. Can't flashback looting, can't cast any of this stuff. Okay. They did it. And faster combos are brutal. I just want to beat up some fair decks. Like, it's not... Fair decks can't really have a, or at least struggle to keep up with this. But, wow. Getting out comboed hurts. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Merit Lage is indestructible. Firestorm. X damage. This is kind of a burn spell. It can kill Vampire Hexmage, but it doesn't really do anything. Leyline of Sanctity can stop me from getting Bajuka Bogged and discard spelled, but does that even matter? And it's probably better than the 4th Once Upon a Time. Maybe. And I like the gamble. Yeah, there's just no answer to a Merit Lage in this particular 75 other than beat it. Like, a lot of the Hogak and like graveyard sort of decks play Run Afoul, which forces the opponent to sacrifice a flying creature. I would probably want some number of these if I were to tune up the sideboard and be serious about this. Alright, here I go. In with the deck. 2 LEDs. This is all enablers, no payoffs. I think I have to mulligan this. Though Faithless Looting with LED could be a party. Or I could just mulligan and hope to do better. Alright, that's better. I'm gonna keep this, and I have to bottom one of these cards. It's probably Basking Rootwalla. Or I could just... I'm gonna be hellbent anyway. So, yeah, maybe I just bottom the Leyline and go to town here. Alright. It's done. Yeah, this hand basically doesn't care about the graveyard anyway. And by the time they can Bajuka Bog me, my anger will have already let me attack with all my Rootwallas. Alright, so Lion's Eye Diamond. Gonna get Taiga out of the deck. And then sack this for green. Yeah, that sounds right. Let's go. I'm ready to attack. I'm ready to go to combat. Would you like to concede? Blazing Root Wall on the stack. Basking Root Wall on the stack. Other Basking Root Wall on the stack. Buff this. Buff this. In for 7. See if it's any good. Needed a Vengevine to go with that, but it's not bad. Not bad for a mulligan. So 3, 4, 5. They're on a 3-turn clock right now. Ooh, Mana Confluence. Amy. Alright, cool. Now I can pump a different Root Walla. Does that even matter? I don't think so. Alright. I'm just gonna... Mana efficiency doesn't matter, but neither does anything else. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if they tap their Mana Confluence and I draw a mana source, they're dead on board. So this is a nice one for them to have, all things considered. I hope their hand is full of crop rotations and Bajuka Bogs that just didn't matter. Dark Depths is scary. Faithless Looting. That is actually good here because any lizard I hit is going to have haste. So Faithless Looting on the stack. Flusterstorm, you got it. I imagine tapping the Mana Confluence did as much damage on average as that Faithless Looting would have done, maybe more. Alright, bam, you're at 2. Go. Lotus Petal, uh-oh. Ghost Quarter, okay. Yes, I'd like to use that ability. They might just be fishing for information here, like if I have basics in the deck or trying to take me off a color. Yeah, they're just dead. Alright. Powered through. Merit Lage, no match for 8 lizards. Now what am I doing? Basically didn't see anything. I saw Flusterstorm, which means that the Firestorm, Fire versus Fluster, Fire loses that battle in the Storm mirror. Gamble gets worse if they have Flusterstorms, but they don't know that I just don't have anything that matters. Like, my deck is just... all I can do is throw power on the board and hope it's better than their 2020, so that's what I'm going to do. And they can sideboard as cheeky as they like. Alright, so this is a gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond kind of hand, I think. I'm going to keep it. Maybe I can bait a Flusterstorm with Once Upon a Time, and then my gamble can get in. Opponent's on a mull to 5 so far. Still going. Alright, so they kept on 5. Mana Confluence off to the races. Inquisition, huh? I think I should Once Upon a Time in response, so they can't take Once Upon a Time at least. I'm gonna get the Ravager, because if my... I suspect they're just gonna take Gamble. They take Gamble or Ravager here. Those are the only choices. I imagine they're gonna take the Gamble, because the Gamble turns on Lion's Eye Diamond, which lets me pop off. Yeah, they took Gamble, sure. So I have outs to just draw Lion's Eye Diamond, all natural. That would be so sick. Alright, Vengevine. Oh, my Lion's Eye Diamond's gone, though. Too bad. So I could just cast Blazing Root Walla and start beating in. I think I do want to pressure in that way. Yeah, I'm just going to cast Blazing Root Walla and start attacking. Like, they mulled to 5 and kept an Inquisition in their hand, and their land is Mana Confluence. So I'm going to put damage on them where I can. Oh, this is going to be a vampire. Bummer. That's bigger than my whole squad. Still looking for Lion's Eye Diamond. Show it to me. Needed that one in the opener. Too late now. Alright, this is falling apart quickly. That Inquisition was really good, turns out. And now if they just have depths, I lose. Stage is not depths. Could still have crop rotation. I am in the market for some sort of looting spell. I guess I can hardcast Angie's Ravager now. I'm gonna get the Badlands, and I'm gonna attack for my 1 damage here. Get in there for what I can get in there for. If they have crop rotation, I lose anyway. Yeah, alright. Sure. You figured out the line. Alright, yep. Just got beat here by a faster combo deck. Is what it is. They took my enabler. So let's pretend in a world, hypothetical world, where they don't have Inquisition. I gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond and get Vengevine, Angie's Ravager, and Rootwalla into play. They have haste because of anger. May or may not be able to cast Ox. I don't actually know the 8 cards in graveyard math. Probably not, but it would be close. The Ravager might give me a second main Ox. I don't know. Yeah, very different game if I get what I want to do, but obviously that's why they have discard spells in their deck. So powerful deck, powerful combo deck, beat our also powerful but slightly more fair combo deck. On the play in round number 4, and I have Faithless Looting, Putrid Imp, Once Upon a Time. This is pretty good. If I hit a Vengevine off of Once Upon a Time, we're in business. So let's check it out. Hollow 1, Angie's Ravager, or land. It's actually pretty interesting. I think I want the Hollow 1. Or do I want Ravager? I think I want Ravager, actually. Yeah, I'm going to take Ravager and then play Putrid Imp. Guess I need a land to go with this, so it's not perfect, but it's a pretty good start. Urza Saga. Just turn 1 Urza Saga. Surge Node. Oh my god. What is happening? Remove a charge counter from Surge Node, put a charge counter on target artifact. Okay, we're playing against some sort of Astral Cornucopia pile. Let's just draw the land and go off. That's not the land I was looking for. I can still Faithless Looting. Try to find Vengevine. I did find a land. So discard Anger and Blazing Rootwalla. Then we Madness this out. Then I fetch for a Taiga. Discard Basking Rootwalla also, which gives my Imp flying in case that matters. And then I can cast this for freezies and buff my Blazing Rootwalla. And we get in for a gajillion. Alright, go, you're at 11. Let's see what they got. City of Traders, pretty good. Grim Monolith. God, I'll take a key. That can untap Monolith and do more things. How far can this go? Oh my god. Oh my god. We're gonna get Karn the Great Created. Alright, so they're surging onto Chalice. Interesting, interesting. Alright, they made a 6/6. Can I beat a 6/6? Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out soon. So I can discard Ravager to give this flying. So I'm going to cast this card. 1, 2. Ravager's here. Imp can fly. Badlands. And no reason to give this more flying. So I can attack with my creatures, see what happens. Ravager triggers. Alright, I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, I can give myself Threshold with which is an extra damage on the imp. 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can make it 10. I can put them to 1. I mean, 1's as good as anything. So bang. Bang. There's my damage, you're at 1. So Putrid Imp having flying is actually a huge deal next turn, if I get a next turn. They can make a construct, tutor up Cornucopia, put a bunch of counters on Cornucopia. Or no, they can't get Cornucopia, because it costs XXX, not 0. Alright, so I don't know what's going to happen right now. Alright, they moved a node counter onto Everflowing Chalice and conceded. Not bad. Good job, Lizards. We beat whatever the fuck this is. I think Ancient Grudge is going to be pretty good here. Certainly saw a lot of artifacts out of this deck. And that's probably all I'm going to do. And Once Upon a Time, the usual suspect on the Shave there. I don't expect this to be a Chalice of the Void deck, but I guess it's possible. No, they have Voltaic Keys. That's part of their plan. They're not going to have Chalice. Anger was pretty good, but don't need all of them. So 2 Once Upon a Times and an Anger out, and then Here we go. Back in. This is not a keeper. This isn't particularly explosive, doesn't find anything, doesn't react to them at all. This one I can keep. This one has a lot of upside. It needs an enabler, but it's all ready to go. So I think I ship the Badlands. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. As good as anything. Looking for Lion's Eye Diamond off the top. Or gamble for a Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm not picky. City of Traders. Is this where they trick me and they've been a Chalice deck the whole time? They could be a Trinisphere deck, but that seems unlikely too. Unless it's out of the sideboard. Turn 1 Karn's pretty good. No matter what you're doing. Mystic Forge. Alright, that's scary. It's not Karn though, so Lion's Eye Diamond is still a live draw. Let's go LED. Off the top. Lion's Eye Diamond. Angie's Ravager. That's not it. Alright, alright. It's fine. I'm gonna get Badlands and play Blazing Rootwalla. Just put something on the board here. Though this Mystic Forge, gotta hope for the worst out of them. There's the Cornucopia. Doesn't do anything without a lot of help. Core Tapper. Put a charge counter on target artifact. Yeah, okay. So they were able to charge up their Cornucopia pretty quickly here. Manifold Key. Alright, they are empty. But Mystic Forge is a hell of a drug. They're ramping with Grim Monolith. They have 5 mana. Alright, Karn off the top. That's pretty good. And they have a 6/6 construct right away. Which one of us is the explosive creature deck? Because right now I'm confused. Alright. I don't think this is beatable. I kept a kind of a speculative one, hoping to find any kind of enabler, and didn't get there. I guess there's a chance they still mess this up somehow. Should always give your opponent a chance to mess up. I'm going to pass. I'm not going to play the second Rootwalla because I think I need it to maximize my LEDs off the top. Grim Monolith came out of their deck. Wonder how likely it is that this is just a 20/20 by the time their combat step comes around. It doesn't seem impossible. Oh god, they're making so much mana. Oh, they have Great Creator. So Great Creator can get a 5 right now. Alright, so I'm not quite lattice locked. Not yet. So even if they just get like Walking Ballista for 2, that should be enough to shut me out effectively. 10/10 construct. Yeah. I'm just letting them do what they want to do for the camera right now. Oh, backup Karn. 11/11 constructs. Ooh, 12/12s. 13s. They're going for lethal. 14. Yeah, they're only a few artifacts away from getting Walking Ballista and zapping me for lethal. Oh, Spatial Contortion. Cool. Alright, that'll do too. Alright, I'm kind of rooting for them to get to 19 here. They used all their mana though, so... Alright, they did get Walking Ballista. Oh, they missed a damage. Come on. I was rooting for you and you betrayed me. They haven't minused or used their other Karn yet, which could have put an extra damage on the board before combat. Suboptimal plays. Now you're going to lose for it. That's not going to happen. Alright. That was the card I wanted for the first 2 turns of the game, and then was the worst draw in the deck on the 3rd turn. Okay. Alright, now I've seen more of what they're doing. That looks a lot scarier. Bone Shards to kill various Karns could be part of the plan. Though I still think Ancient Grudge is just a better plan. Do I want to make room for Bone Shards on top of the 3 Ancient Grudges already? Don't think so. Though, Lion's Eye Diamond... I should have my Lion's Eye Diamonds in before their Karn. Alright. I was about to board in some Bone Shards just to keep Lion's Eye Diamond on into the mid-game, but I don't want to keep a hand that plans for a mid-game. Okay, I can keep this, and I'm going to jam Burning Inquiry and hope for the best. I think I play my Lion's Eye Diamond out first, and then Burning Inquiry, because I do want to keep that card around. Discarded Hollow one, 100%. rate on that one. That was always going to happen. And they lost Surge Node, Karn, and Ancient Tomb. I hope those were important. And Burning Inquiry should just say, draw 3 cards, discard 2 cards at random, and hollow 1. Alright, Falteki. That was not a very good start. Let's see if they have anything else. Yeah, Burning Inquiry does have the secret opponent also discards cards mode. Like the Hymn to Turok mode. Okay, so I'm going to play my Putrid Imp, and then discard Vengevine, and cast Burning Inquiry. Like, I can discard the Root Wallet still anyway. That Root Wallet did not even move. Alright. Good thing I could cast it anyway. Alright, Vengevine's here. Root Wallet's in play. Putrid Imp can fly. I can cash in Lion's Eye Diamond now for 4 damage. Or I can save it to Faithless Looting with next turn. So let's do some math. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, they're on a 2-turn clock if I do this. It's time to blaze. Alright, take 10. They're dead on board. Let's go. Don't even have the 3rd artifact to gain 1 life. Yeah! Scooped it up. That's how you do it. Burning Inquiry, take their Ancient Tomb, then they don't do anything. That's plan A. Hymn to Turok, baby. On the draw in the final round. Playing for the positive record. I'm pretty sure this hand is terrible. Like, what am I even hoping to hit off Once Upon a Time? Because spells are my enablers and creatures are my payoffs. So I have 2 payoffs, no enablers. This is a mulligan. Okay. I'm going to keep this. And probably send the Ravager. Yeah, I'm going to... Though, if I find Lion's Eye Diamond, then I'm going to wish I had the Ravager. Maybe I send Anger. I need the Inquiry. I'm going to keep pretending that someday Hollow 1 won't just get discarded instantly to Burning Inquiry. Alright, I'm going to send the Ravager. I have everything all dressed up here for... Oh, baby. I think it's Burn. They want to race, do they? Alright, Blazing Root Wallet revealed. Speaking of blazing. Okay. So, if I can put Hollow 1 into play, we're going to be doing okay here. Because Burn has trouble with a 4-4. Let's see if we hit the 100% discard rate on Hollow 1. Oh my god, Hollow 1's still in my hand. This must be a moto bug. Alright. Bang. Okay. I have a 4-4 in play. That's pretty good against Burn. And I got rid of their Eidolon. So I'll take that. And then Faithless Looting, discard Vengevine and Root Wallet maybe next turn. I guess losing 3 lands off of... Oh, okay. Putrid Imp. Do I take 2 or do I let them trade off with Hollow 1? Yeah, I mean, life total is all that matters against Burn, so I'm going to let them use a Lightning Bolt and gain 5 life against that. Yeah, easy, easy. Faithless Looting, let's go. Once Upon a Time, Ox, Vengevine. Do I just discard Vengevine and Anger and set up for when I find black mana? I think so. Or I could discard Vengevine and Ox. That way. No, I think Anger is better in the graveyard. Okay. Vengevine's ready. I just need a black source, and I can play Putrid Imp, discard Basking Root Wallet, and we're off to the races. That was not the black source I'm looking for, though it does still work. So I play Lion's Eye Diamond, and I crack it for red. I get Basking Root Wallet and Ox of Agonis. So red, 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 red. Basking Root Wallet on the stack. Ox of Agonis. Exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. Right, as long as I leave Vengevine behind, we're good. Who's the burn deck now? Yeah, they're just scooping it up. Another honest concession. I mean, I don't think Burn can, on one land, can string together a faster clock than this, but let's see where this Ox would have gone. Gotten another Burning Inquiry out of the deal. Maybe another Root Wallet. Inquiry would have hit. Oh my god. They might have been actually dead there. I'm going to pretend that would have gone perfectly. And just, we win immediately. Alright, so Leyline of Sanctity If there was ever a matchup this is actually for, it's probably this one. And Firestorm can remove creatures. This is a huge cost too. So normally the trick with Firestorm, you need X targets if you want to discard X cards. So deals X damage to each of X targets. Normally the trick is you can always target yourself and your opponent to get 2 discards, and then a creature makes 3. But I don't want to target myself here. So this is probably going to be for 2 if I cast it at all. And Once Upon a Time's whatever. I think Leyline of Sanctity is my priority here. And what is the next layer of significance? Do I just ignore Eidolon of the Great Revel and Goblin Guide and just leave Firestorm in the graveyard? Do I not need Anger for this matchup? Because it's about being bigger, not about being faster? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Let me know in the comments. Alright, I'm off Anger. All the way off Angers. 3 Firestorms are in. Let's go. This is my first Lion's Eye Diamond Vengevine hand of the entire league, I think. So I'm going to keep it. So they have Mountain Go. Angie's Ravager. Are you shitting me? Deal. Okay, so Lion's Eye Diamond. Here comes my whole hand. Bang! Here they come. Blazing Rootwalla. Basking Rootwalla. Brings Vengevine with it. The Ravager was actually a huge draw because now they have to decide if they're going to bolt Vengevine, Ravager, or somehow both. And if they bolt both, that's 6 life I just gained, basically. Not going to let that mana go to waste. Can't attack, but still going to use it. And their deck is full of lightning bolts, it's fair to say. But if their plan was like lightning bolt of Vengevine, turn the corner with Eidolon, oh wow, they're going to get so ravaged. I'd love to just draw a land here. Nice, got there. So Ravager has to attack, and then these other things attack too. Blazing Rootwall is a trade with Eidolon. Everything else eats it. Oh, this is so messed up. No blocks, huh? Do I wanna... Yeah, I'll get them for a cheeky point here. For cheeky 2 points, I guess it is. And I'm not gonna cast any of these other spells. Like, they're under their own Eidolon, same as me. Like, we both have to play under this card. And they just took 7. I guess they have some sort of sweeper. Alright, that's... Wow. They're just determined to kill themselves here, it seems. And they're attacking. Fearless. Absolutely fearless. I respect it. It's insane, but I respect it. Okay, that makes some sense. That makes sense. Now there's a plan. They are empty over there. Take 2 in my upkeep. Okay, so if I take 6, 7, 8 damage, I can put Vengevine into play. Yep, worth every penny. Alright, Taiga. Badlands. I am playing into Price of Progress, which is one of the few cards left in the deck that could actually beat me. But I'm fearless. Let's go. I think I do want to pay for Ravager. Wait, alright, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I think having the 3/3 in play is worth more than attacking for 1 extra damage here. Or 2 extra damage. So I cast this, I take 2. I cast this, I take 2 more. I'm at 7, which is effectively 5 because of their Vortex. They're at 6, which is effectively 4. And they would have to cast spells to beat me, which Eidolon makes it hard to do. I lose to exactly Price of Progress. Alright, they packed it up. Quick concession. Alright, so we're a better burn deck than burn, but we're a worse combo deck than Witherbloom and... What was the other combo deck we lost to? I forget already. It's been so long. It was kind of sad that we only really got to play against one fair deck, and that deck was also a combo deck because they had the Witherbloom Chanosmog in it. Like, we didn't really get to see how this relentless grind and just the opponent needing to point their removal spells at Vengevine and HollowVine, and then you just pick them apart with the 8 lizards. That never really happened in this league. Still put up a positive record. Lost to 2 faster combo decks. All right, Depths was the other one we lost to. And you could definitely put Run-a-Fowls in this sideboard. This sideboard doesn't seem super optimal. Like, Bone Shards and Firestorm were frequently stepping on each other, so I think you could replace some number of these with Run-a-Fowls, maybe one of each. That change has been made, so that if we could have removed Merit Lage in any of the games, we would have won them easily. So I like that. As far as the engine goes, I was joking a lot, but I am very good at discarding Hollow into Burning Inquiry. There was one time where we got a free Hollow one after a Burning Inquiry, and there were 2 or 3 times where it went straight in the graveyard. We kicked the league off with like a Burning Inquiry, discard all the worst possible things, keep all the worst possible things. There is variance involved in this deck. There's variance in Magic all the time, but you're embracing it fully with Burning Inquiry as part of your engine. This deck does a lot to mitigate that variance. All of the Madness cards are obviously great. Once Upon a Time, nice, great way to tie this deck together. I don't know if this is my style. Like, I wouldn't bet a Grand Prix performance on this deck, because you are very much just like throwing your cards down and saying good luck. And if the opponent has it, they have it, which isn't really my style. But this is powerful enough that you do get to ask that question, and you do get to ask it really hard. And if your opponent doesn't really understand what you're doing, like if they load up on Graveyard and they just keep a hand with like Rest in Peace, 2 Surgical Extractions, whatever, Grafdigger's Cage, you can just beat them with Root Wallas. So this deck is good at not dying to any one thing, and I do appreciate that a lot. Cleaning up the sideboard will help a lot for those tough matchups. Run-a-Fowl also has text against Delver and Murktide Regent, so this is not an embarrassing card. It's not like it's only for Merit Lage. It is good against the format. Most Hogak decks do play this card, and this was fun. I think that there's probably more iteration you could do with the list. I'm not an expert in this sort of thing. If you're into this sort of graveyard spew fest, like, this dodges hate better than Hogak, or at least graveyard hate, hard graveyard hate better than Hogak does, but it doesn't hit as hard when it goes unperturbed. Also, Hogak has the combo kill with Altar of Dementia, and this deck just had the combo kill, quote unquote, is just putting 8 power into play on turn 1. So there's pros and cons to doing this over a more traditional Hogak kind of thing. Dodging Endurance is a huge deal. In Vengevine and Anger and Ox are the cards that care about graveyard hate, so forcing them to have Endurance for only part of your plan is pretty cool. And Hollow One being bigger than Endurance is cool too. Endurance being bigger than all your Root Wallas and Ravager is a beating though, so hit or miss there. Also, a lot of the blue decks are playing Narset right now, which makes Angie's Ravager kind of dangerous. Like, it has to attack every turn, and then you discard your hand, and then you don't draw 3 cards because of Narset. And Hullbreacher's even worse because you're ramping them while this happens. So there's some pros and cons here, but the goal is to play this on turn 1 where Narset and Hullbreacher don't come down for several turns. So I do like what this deck is doing. I have a lot of respect for this archetype. Not my style. I wouldn't bet a Grand Prix performance on it, but a lot of respect for this. If you're going to play Legacy, you should know what this deck is, what it does, and how to play against it, so you don't get caught unaware with a fistful of Rest in Pieces and dying to Root Wallas. So thank you, Kragan, for asking me to play this deck. It was a lot of fun. Love an excuse to put Root Walla on the channel, and I appreciate it. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Make sure to leave your comments about the list, about how I played it. Happy to hear it. And remember to like and subscribe to the channel while you're here. And I'll see you next time.